Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be taking the Lexus GX550 Overtrail off-road. Let's get right into it. Well, first off, let's see how the EKDSS handles, well, a gravel road. Now, I know this is not the most exciting, but this is in fact a lot of off-roading. It's going down, you know, somewhat graded gravel roads. And I will say, it's, again, we're not aired down at all. I've said this in past videos, but my air compressor broke, so I've just got to get a new one. Haven't had time, but suspension actually handles it pretty darn well. And it actually articulates pretty darn well too. This new EKDSS is pretty impressive so far. Ooh, that was a bit, I shimmied to the side there. I did not like that. Sorry, it's going slow over this rock. But other than that little shimmy, which was not great body control, pretty solid. And we're in high range. This has enough torque to be able to just get up. So yeah, pretty impressive so far. Pretty impressive so far with the suspension. We'll do a couple quick runs of this steep hill. So in this first run, I'm just gonna do the, sorry, I got hiccups really bad. Center diff locked. I think this Lexus. Oh, I did lock it. There we go. I think it's locked. It's still blinking though with the light. Anyways, we'll see if this can make it up. It is slipping a bit. Yeah, not too bad. Not too shabby. What I'll do here is I'll flip around and go back down the hill, because it's also a steep, right? We can go up it and down it. Steep up, steep down. Camera system definitely helps out quite a bit. I will say, although this has a pretty big front overhang, as long as you go slow, it doesn't get in the way too much. And that's the thing to note about just Toyota's off-roaders in general. When you keep them stock, you just have to drive a little bit slower so you don't bash the front end. Not too bad. I'm against that little bush a little bit. Being pretty good grip there, and you guys can see the turning radius is actually pretty solid as well. I mean, this is a pretty wide area too, given, but I'm not really struggling to get this thing turned around. Traction control system is definitely working. I can feel it. So we're going to lock the rear diff. I just want to see if it is going to be a little bit less on the intervention side of things with the rear differential locked. But I will say, overall, it seems like this performs pretty similarly to the new Land Cruiser. Yeah, a little smoother with the rear diff locked. It really does feel identical. I mean, the suspension's a little bit more comfortable, but outside of that, like the actual crawling and everything else feels, gonna unlock the diffs, feels pretty much the same to the new Land Cruiser. So that's a compliment. This part here, not because it's difficult, but because it's just a tight turn, and it's got like a little lump there. So this will show us the turning radius, but also the articulation let me see if I can show you guys the, you can see here, let me just put it full on in park so you guys can see the rear here. You can see the, I mean, it's not like mega tucked, oof, but there's kind of a, hopefully the GoPro kind of shows you guys, I'm not sure the angling on the camera, but it's a pretty impressive system. I mean, this is articulating pretty darn well, I would say. I'm pretty impressed with it. And the grip too. The engine makes some weird sounds, I will say that. It sounds like it's just sucking up air. And it's not a hot day, so it's not like we got lots of fans blowing. It's like, yeah, 45 degrees outside. Fahrenheit. I will say the center diff locked does make a decent level of difference with this. Just smooths things out a little bit with the bumps and everything, because you're not having to dig as much for grip, right? Without the center diff locked, you're kind of just, it's kind of like all-wheel drive almost. I would say that the EKDSS off-road makes this about as comfortable as the Land Cruiser is with the sway bar disconnected, but this is still a little bit more comfortable. It seems like the angles, I mean, I'm not struggling with grip. I just have to take things slow, that's it. So a little bit out of breath running up the hill. And also you guys can you, I don't know if you can see, that's pollution. You can barely see the farm ground down below. So definitely takes a toll on the lungs, I'll say that. But center diff locked, rock mode with the multi-terrain select. This hill does have some ice. I tested it with my shoes and it's not that slippery. I know saying ice is not that slippery, but you know, there's different levels to this stuff. And this is excellent at just the, see, here's the thing, like I said, because of the angles of this, you just gotta go a little bit slower. And it really is great at taking things slow. You can just kind of, oh. So let's do rear diff locked. It is not liking this. There we go. Completely sorted it out. I'm sure the multi-terrain select could have figured that out. With the braking system, but if you've got the tech, why not use it, right? And again, you can see how spinning, but then smooth again once we locked the diff. So you really can just take things really, really slowly with this, which I know some of you might find that boring, but it's a luxury car, right? Let's be real. Gonna unlock the center here so I can get a better turning radius. So in summary, the GX550 is, well, the same as the new Land Cruiser, right? They're the same car, just V6 versus 4-cylinder hybrid, and then this has some extra bodywork to make it look like a Lexus. Got some fancier leather trim inside and all of that, but off-road, yeah, they pretty much drive it identically, except the EKDSS, well, I don't have to worry about constantly turning on and off the sway bar disconnect, which is nice. And then the other thing that's nice about the EKDSS is it just articulates so well, and it really smooths things. Like, this is as comfortable as like a Land Rover Defender off-road, which is quite impressive because that has air suspension. So I think they've done a good job with that. I might put it in the I'll still just work it myself. So I was saying maybe I'll demonstrate for you guys the crawl control here quickly at the end. But yeah, I mean, this is great. The only, like I said, just because of the angles, all you have to do is just take this a little bit slower so that you don't bash the front end. It's got enough clearance to go over stuff. That's so slow. Okay, let's go up a speed. But yeah, and it does have their newest crawl control system, which you can hear is very, very quiet. We're actually we just bottomed out. As I'm talking about clearances, which, look at that, I was able to reverse over that. Let's try that again, except for I'm gonna just here, we're just gonna one pedal this. Let's go to the side here a little bit more. Good thing it's got some skid plates underneath and everything. So yeah, you just got to take things a little bit slower with this. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the Lexus GX550 off-road. I do think it's a pretty darn, gotta get my camera. I do think it's a pretty darn competent, it's telling me not to park here. Hey buddy, we're doing it anyways. I think it's a pretty darn competent off-roader. Just doesn't have the best angles, that's all.